That's what you get for Duke. Hi everyone, welcome back to Travel Reimagined. I'm Jacqueline.
I'm Chase.
And today we are going to be answering all of your top most burning questions about RV life now that we are almost 9 months in. So we've selected 20 questions that you guys submitted throughout social media and YouTube, and we're going to be answering them a little bit about ourselves, about RV life, how we transitioned, common questions that answer, things that we do in our RV lifestyle versus a regular house, and some other things. So we'll head through them. And if you guys have any other questions, by the way, please drop them in the comments below. We'd be happy to answer them afterward. So let's get started. Chase has the questions for us, so he's going to go ahead and begin.
All right. Number 1, how can we afford to live on the road full time?
Great question. I think for us, we actually work full time. So I know oftentimes RVing is mostly retirees, or those who are maybe like teachers and don't work in the summer. So they're like traveling, things like that. So we do work full time. We both work in jobs that are remote and businesses that are remote. I do content creation full time for my job, and Chase works in an investment job. So I'd
say Starlink is our number 1 reason we are allowed to do that. Mm-hmm. Where if we didn't have good internet, at least myself, I wouldn't have a good job. You wouldn't be able to upload anything, so you
guys would never see us.
That's definitely a big reason why, and a good tool to let us do that.
Absolutely.
Number 2, what inspired you to transition to full-time RV living?
Ooh, this is a great question. So if you guys haven't seen our page before, we'll kind of go over the story, but you can check out more details. I'll link the video up above. Chase and I were living in Austin before, and when we moved there, we really enjoyed it. It was great to live in the city. We had a lot of fun. But once we moved into a house, we had a rental house. We didn't purchase a home there. Prices were just skyrocketing. We were kind of getting to that point where we were deciding, should we be buying a house or not? So we were saving for many, many years. Really just honestly couldn't afford anything in Austin. Then it got to a point where we were like, do we really even want to be here full time? So
the things we could afford, did we really want?
Right, exactly. Yeah, Zillow's your enemy, right? You can go on and look at housing prices everywhere, and it's like, dang, why would I pay that here when I can get a shack here? So I think that for us was kind of like our turning point of like, we wanted to do something different. Chase and I was always open to like where we were going to settle down. So we kind of had this plan that year that we were going to like try and do some traveling and like seeing some of the towns that we had been recommended. Except for the problem being is like Airbnbs and hotels get super expensive, and so do flights.
Yeah, I think we were thinking originally a 3-month Airbnb stay, different places.
Yeah.
Was kind of our original idea.
We really weren't going to be able to do more than a few places. And then on top of that would have never included like seeing family and friends and like the regular things that we would want to do. Chase took me to an RV show as like a date night. If you've been to Austin before, how expensive everything is. So it was only $5. So we were like, heck yeah, let's go. So he was like, we'll go for cocktails before. And I was like, great, let's go. So we went to an RV show, and like, if you guys don't know me, I'm not an outdoor person. I do not camp. I do not go outside. I do not do any, I like to be indoors at all times. For us, like living in a camper, I was like, okay, Chase, you're delusional. So we went. It was very fun. But I didn't know that going into it.
No,
I was like...
Absolutely not. You had no idea what to expect. And honestly, I didn't either. I've never been to a show like that before.
Yeah.
It was a large one that, we were able to go into the convention center, walk around, and honestly, we couldn't even look at all of them in time. There was quite a bit of them. But it allowed us to like open our eyes of what the possibilities are out there.
And probably much like a lot of other full-timers, we realized we could get more for less, in the sense that we could purchase our own home basically, and we could travel with the luxuries of living in our own house, but we could see the whole world with it. And we all got an ever-changing background. So I don't think either of us have ever been like massive travelers. We both enjoy traveling, but we've never been super gung-ho on it. So I think this was a very different thing. I think this shocked a lot of like our friends and family that we would ever do this. I know my family was like blown away that I would ever get in an RV in general. I think that's kind of where we got started, and we ended up just taking the leap of faith, and we decided to sell everything we have. We didn't own a home, so we took the money that we were going to put on a down payment and bought an RV, and we went for it. We never looked back. So the entire reasoning that we kind of got into RVing, to shorten that, is to find the place that we want to settle down. If that's something that we decide to do. We've been really enjoying RV life. I assume there will be a point in our lives we will want to settle again. But right now, we're really enjoying ourselves, and the intention is to find where we feel is best to be home for us.
And have fun along the way.
Absolutely.
Number 3, how did you manage to downsize? And did you rent a storage unit for the items?
Yeah.
The answer is yes. We were able to downsize. However, it took quite a bit of work at first. I think there was multiple phases along that process. At first, it was I'd say the first little, maybe let's say 10-15% of items were super easy to get rid of because you're just getting rid of stuff that you don't really want anyways. But then once you go through that first phase, then you see what's left. Then you try to do it again every once in a while and see what's left. It definitely got harder and harder, and we really not have ever living full-time on the road before.
Yeah.
We had no idea what we wanted to bring. We had items where we were like, do we think we need this? Do we not? We didn't want to sell something if we then were like, oh, to turn around in a year from now, buy it again. That was hard.
We also were conscious of the fact that, like, if you could buy it in a year, small things, we just got rid of it. So really what I would say is it's a full-time job to get rid of stuff. I'll be honest with you, like downsizing from a 2,000 square foot house to a 400 or whatever-ish square foot RV is a really big change. So start by taking everything you absolutely must keep, whether that be it goes to the RV or it goes to a storage unit or whatever. It's just the things that you cannot part with, you cannot live without. That might be grandma's cookbook, or it might be your toaster oven that you need to bring to eat toast. So separating those things out, and then go through your house step by step looking for things that you can get rid of. I run a page called Home Reimagined. If you guys aren't familiar, we do talk a lot about decluttering. If you're looking for that, I actually have the entire moving series over there, so you can check out more tips. But then for the storage unit, all we did was keep 3 pieces of furniture. We had an entire gym, so we were really not willing to part with that. Truthfully, it was very expensive. So
and COVID prices have not made that.
Yeah, we got it during
cheaper.
COVID originally when it was cheaper. So for us, we kept the gym and we kept photo albums and a couple of family heirlooms, but we didn't keep any of our other stuff. We sold everything else. Like, we didn't keep any regular furniture or things like that. So
yeah, it's a pretty small storage unit, but it really helped putting in categories. What do you know you need to keep? What do you think you need to bring? And then the pile in between is you have to make a decision on. And that pile was huge and took a long time to go through, but you had to make a decision.
Absolutely.
Number 4, how do you get mail or legal address for voting and driver's license? That was probably one of our first concerns, I think,
That was our biggest concern, for sure.
Especially leaving Texas, we're like, all right, we don't want to have to change residency. So we did a lot of research on that at first. There is quite a few options out there. We ended up finding one that was already a Texas-based company.
Yes.
It's called Escapees or RVs.
Escapees,
Escapees RV Club, I think. And that's a great one because it is a domicile address, so you can actually put your driver's license attached to it.
Meaning it's legal, by the way. We're not doing anything illegal.
It's legal. Your address is on file for that being your legal address. But then on top of that, they also have a mailing address. They do handle your mail through there. And we just use a simple app where they scan everything in. So everything physical does go to them.
Really
they scan it in, and you make a decision on if you actually want it to be sent to you or not. Honestly, that was a big concern of ours. We haven't had any issues.
And then just one quick note, packages is something most campsites will allow you to receive packages, or you can do Amazon fulfillment, like center, like a Whole Foods and stuff. You can pick them up at lockers. So packages are definitely not the problem. It's more so the mail and the address.
Number 5, how do you handle internet access and connectivity while traveling? Starlink for us. We originally tried the one that came with the RV, Travelify. That one was cellular based, and that one it had, I don't know what you call it. It's essentially it jumped tower to tower to find the closest reception.
Right.
Whether that was AT&T or T-Mobile, any of those ones, I believe it jumped all different providers, which we didn't really like. I think the areas we were going to wasn't really great. I'm not sure.
Like, if I tried to upload a video, it would take half the day or more. It was like you couldn't get anything done. So Starlink has been really great for us, and Chase just mounts it every time. We're talking about mounting it onto the roof of our RV, so we will film that for you guys if we go through with that. But yeah, I think it's been a pretty simple process.
But that's a non-negotiable for us.
Yeah.
Number 6 here, do you get lonely? How do you find community or social connections while traveling?
We had this conversation a couple days ago, actually, in the car. I definitely get lonely. I mean, I miss our friends and family, obviously. We'll talk more about like how we actually keep up with them in a second. But I think, you can get lonely in this life. Chase and I obviously have each other, and like we've been best friends for 11 years. So for us, it's not really a problem.
Wow.
I know. We're coming up on 11 years in September. So I think for us that like we really enjoy each other's company. We do a lot of things together, but we also have a lot of interests that we share by ourselves. And I think we use those to either meet people, like if you want to join like a local gym or something, you can talk to like other people in the area. We were talking about trying to make more of an effort this year as well. Sitting out by campfires, talking to people in the community. We've always talked and met people, but when you're doing like 1 to 2 week stays, you don't chat with as many people versus like when we were staying near my family. We were there for like months. We had more like relationships, I would say.
That's a big one.
Our friend Tom's on here. I know he'll comment. Thanks, Tom.
It depends where you are too.
There are ways to meet people, so like don't let that deter you. But there are things like rallies which you can find. We haven't really figured out exactly how to do it, but like we will figure it out.
Yep.
It's where you go and meet up with other RVers. We know a lot of family, people who have children, they travel full-time with their children. They do these like full-time family events where they go and they have like the best time ever just spending time together. Our friend Kirsten was talking about it the other day. So there are definitely things like that.
Those are big too. A big group of RVers too.
Absolutely. And other thing is creating friends on social media. For us, creating like social media accounts has allowed us like start meeting people, just like befriending people and getting help. And I will say the people in the RV community are so nice.
Very welcoming. Everyone's willing to help too. It's incredible. You answered a lot of that really well. And I think to me, it really depends on what you do. Right, it depends what activities you do. Sit inside and work all day, which sometimes we do that and get caught up with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Then you obviously aren't going to get any exposure to anyone in your area. But it really depends. Maybe if you like to get out and have certain hobbies in the area, it's really easy.
Right.
So it kind of depends.
Yeah, I think it's what you make of it.
Exactly. All right, so next question, how do you decide on your travel destinations? Well, I think this leads perfectly from the community and social connections we just talked about. And this is really easy for us because we have family that lives on the opposite ends of the country. So for us, it's really easy to know we wanted to do this lifestyle to spend more time with family. We lived really far away for quite a minute, actually 8 years.
Yeah.
We really wanted to spend some more time with family. So this allowed us to say, okay, twice a year, we know where we're going to be. And that we have pretty good pillars where it's like, all right, summer, winter, we know some sort of area. And then in between, we can plan our route. So that really helped, at least in my mind, big picture.
That's for us, like our pillar. But I would say, how do you decide on travel destinations as well when we're obviously not around them? I mean, obviously we are looking for a place for home, so we are trying to look at places we are interested in, but we're also just trying to look at places that we've heard of or we thought were interesting or whatever. So usually Chase is the kind of planner as far as like planning the actual like exterior route, and then I try to find like social media videos and things that other people have stayed at or campgrounds or whatever. Or when we're in the car, a lot of times I'll do research on like campgrounds and places we can stay.
There are
and
a
we
lot
kind
of
just
options.
plan
I think
around.
that's what you had the other day.
There
You were
are
sitting
a
there going,
lot.
like, there's so much too many.
That took me like 4 hours and we still didn't even pick one. We haven't even booked one.
Which is a good thing though, right? Like you have a lot of options out there. It allows you to choose exactly what works for you. So we like to think of it, all right, this time of year, where would we love to be?
We chase the weather. We're that chasing 75 degrees, whatever they call it. Like
snowbirds.
We are looking for the warm weather, but that's why we moved to Texas in the first place.
There's a lot of different tools out there to find camp spots too. Our next phase is going to be more looking into boondocking a little bit better now that we have a better feel for this rig. So that'll be a whole nother learning curve that we have to get into. We are learning as we go.
We are definitely learning as we go.
Number 8, what challenges have you faced as a couple living in close quarters, and how do you overcome them?
I'd like to hear your answer first to see if we have a fight after this or not.
No, I don't. I think for us, the biggest challenge was, first, when we were buying this RV, we both knew we were working remote. We knew we couldn't be in the same room, just based off of the type of jobs we had. That'd be a massive issue for us if we happen to find 2 desks in one spot. Right. So I think working, knowing your lifestyle, and deciding on the rig for that is honestly right up front the number one way to be able to live a good life together.
Challenges, I would say, working together. I'd say we haven't really had a lot of challenges as far as like not screaming at one another. I would say if you plan to do this and you don't have a very strong marriage to begin with, this is probably not your best choice. This will not bring you closer together if you are already on the fringe. I know that might sound really mean, but you don't have anywhere to go in this scenario. And it fosters really good communication for us. We are really forced to talk about the things that we need. Space, things being taken care of, done, repairs, budgets, finances, things like that. We're a lot more open than I even think we were living in a house, and we've always been pretty open with one another, I think.
You're kind of forced to.
We had a relationship where we felt very confident with one another to begin with. The space isn't really a problem for us as much so as it's facing new challenges together. Chase likes to say we take on a lot of new things that we're learning together. I mean, RV life in general was new to us. We never owned a home, so it was like home ownership and RV life and owning a car. I don't know, it's like all the things in one. So I would say I don't really think the space is a problem for us as a couple. I think we have problems with the space from other things in our lives when I'm trying to record and stuff, or today when Duke was trying to push the entire camera over. But I don't think we really have any
We've also bought a large toy hauler. It allowed us a little extra
We do have more room than the average, yeah.
So that was a really helpful piece, I'd say. I think overall...
Flashback.
No, don't hit the camera. No, come here.
When you downsize, it's I don't think that's the problem. It's what you do in your overall life, you know, how you live your life.
Yeah.
Parking, maintenance, cleaning, the normal everyday life skills. I think it just forces you to face them a lot faster than you would have.
Yeah.
That's all it really is.
Aside from parking, everyone will tell you parking causes problems.
Parking in the rain, in the dark. That can
Unfortunately.
also add some. Parking on an empty stomach.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that. We'll get there.
Number 9, what made you decide on the Brinkley G3950, and any tips for features to look for when shopping for an RV?
Don't just purchase an RV getting tricked by all the bells and whistles. When you go to an RV show or you go to an RV like shopping, what do you call those? Oh my God, a store? No, what are they called? I was thinking like when you go to an RV.
Oh,
like Funtown RV, that's where we bought ours. What's
dealership.
That dealership, thank you. I think when you go to a dealership or you go to a show where we purchased something like in Dallas at a convention show, knowing what you want before you start going there. Don't just go there and like blindly look around unless you're just looking on your first day. But if you're ready to purchase, like you're running down to the wire. We did a ton of research before. We needed 2 workspaces, like Chase said. That was super important to us, and that was a non-negotiable. We were not willing to give on that by any sort of means.
That limited a lot of the options.
That's not how we ended up with the toy hauler, was because we were able to have more of a flex space. Because the second thing is I really wanted a laundry space, so we were able to kind of get those things.
I remember that was huge.
Yeah. As far as features go, just make sure you're being really conscious of things that you need to do. Another thing was I know boondocking was important to you.
Yeah. Yeah, Boone is big. So I think we like 2 or 3 different options near the end. And then we looked at the actual fundamentals of it and go, okay, what allows us in the future to do more? And this model had much bigger gray tanks.
Larger tanks.
Much better, black tanks. And it already came pre-installed with solar and an onboard generator. So it just kind of, it checked boxes for us that other ones didn't.
That we may not have needed right away, but we knew we were going to. And that's another thing we hear a lot of people say, like, don't just purchase a starter RV, like save up. If that takes you a few more months or a year, save up and get the one that you actually want to be in. That's a very common thing I hear from people is, like, we obviously live in a really big RV and people are like, well, you're new, but why would you buy such a big, RV? And we were like, well, we weren't going to buy something that was a starter and then in 2 years have to trade it in and be unhappy the entire time. Save the extra money, do what you need to do. The reality is, like, you need the features that you need in order to live because your life and day-to-day are very important, and you're not just going to start living a whole new life. Like, if you're somebody who can't stand to look at an unmade bed, you're not going to all of a sudden just start not making your bed every day if that's something that bothers you. So these are
it's like a house.
Right. These are the realities. And so, like, when you're purchasing a home, you also look for the same things that are non-negotiables. And of course you can fix certain things, but
yeah, there's enhancements and then there's fundamentals. And it's hard to know what the fundamentals are if you haven't lived in it full time. Like, we for certain things that were more important and ended up not really being important. So
I'm sure you make a list, like make a list with your spouse, family, whomever you'll be moving in with, or yourself, and look at what's important to you and make sure you get that. And then on top of all that, we went with Brinkley because they're one of the only companies that is warranted full-time for RV living.
Yes.
Many RV companies do not allow full-time RVing. So what that means, it's not they keep you from living in it full-time, but they don't warrant the same
use
on it. So oftentimes if you called and asked for a warranty problem on something from a company that doesn't allow it, they're going to tell you like, oh, well, you use it full time. That's why you've used it more than the capacity that we expect you to use it. So no, it's not valid anymore. So
be careful.
Obviously, I'm not telling you to lie, but think about what you need to do. So
just be aware.
Be aware.
And honestly, the company itself, I've been very pleased
Brinkley's been amazing. I mean, we can talk all about it all day
that's
long. We
a
love it.
Number 10, what are some essential items you'd never travel without in your RV?
This one can go into like twofold, and I know we have another question here that'll answer some of it. So definitely our Starlink for us is like the most important. We have to be able to work in order to afford this, otherwise we would literally not be able to do this.
Internet. It doesn't matter what the tool is.
Right.
We just found it to be Starlink, but that is
yeah, your Wi-Fi service. We talked about like a surge protector.
Yeah.
It's really important to have things that save your utilities. So water filter, surge protector. Yeah, those kinds of things. Looking at those, we can make an entire video actually on like things that we wish we knew as beginners if you guys are interested in that. And then that will just give you guys maybe like our top 10 items, because I think we could go into this all day, but it's probably not.
And there's a lot of videos out there, and I think that was one of the things that we were really overwhelmed with at first, because there were so many options, and I think those are probably two of the first things people recommend you get.
Yeah.
And obviously with that comes a
Of
lot
course.
of opinions. So
Yeah, but those two things, if you don't have a surge protector, you're going to be screwed. And then also, we're going to go over some boondocking information. We are going to be heading out boondocking out west soon. So Chase has put a lot of time and research into it. So we will make an entire video, and I will link it when it is prepared in the description and above. But he's going to go through all the things that we believe you're going to need for boondocking. And then when we get there, we're going to test to see if we
figure it
really
out.
needed them or not. So stay tuned for that.
you either can laugh at us or applaud us.
And we'll be back next week with part 2. Thanks for watching. Until next time.
Let's hit the road, Jack.